Robert, would you talk to me a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself, and then we'll dive right in.
Yeah, sure. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here, Sue. So yeah, my name's Rob. I'm the founder of my real estate and investing business called Rolston Real Estate. I'm from Ireland originally, but I live just outside Glasgow in Scotland. I've been over here for about 17 years, and roots firmly down now. My family's all across here, so this is now home. Um, I start, I suppose, from humble beginnings. I was never the smartest guy in school. Did what I was told to do though, worked hard and got through school, got into university and came out with a degree in healthcare. And very quickly, I think I realized that wasn't for me. And I just got a wee bit disenchanted with the 9 to 5 and broke away from that after about 2 to 3 years and just chucked it all and went traveling to Thailand on a bit of a soul search. Found financial education, financial literacy, deep dove a library of books on the stuff. And when I landed back from traveling, I immediately started pursuing property. And I've built up a portfolio for myself and my family. And I'm a bit of an evangelist about property and about financial education and investing now. And my current business model is sitting targeting an audience where we kind of identify a gap that's in the wealth between the wealthy and the well off, or the wealthy and the working person, as opposed to the rich and the poor. That's the gap that everybody talks about, but we want to help just the average person attain affluence. That's our kind of mission statement. So there's nothing special about me. I'm a very average guy. And like I said, I started with no money in the bank account, but if I can do it, anybody can. And my business sits at that demographic to help the average person to get ahead, because the wealthy 1% are surrounded by financial advisors, family offices, and people whose sole job it is to create more wealth for them, based on the fact that they make their money off those fees because it's larger transactions. But the average person doesn't have hundreds of thousands to throw around, but they still have more than they realize, and more capability to change their stars. They just don't have the tools to do it. So we will either help them to build their own portfolio, or if they're not in a position to do that, we will help them deploy capital so that they can attain investment like returns that would otherwise only be available to the wealthy. So that's what my business model is basically helping the middleman to kind of climb and get security for his family.
That's so great. Now, I want to ask you this question here, and you've touched on this a little bit, definitely. But what is it, that vision, when you imagine the person that you're serving, like the future that you can like imagine for them? What is that vision?
Yeah. Well, how my business has evolved over time, and the kind of pivotal turning point in my business was, I have a background in healthcare, and there was a gentleman came in to see me, and he was in his 50s, and he had had a heart attack, and like a month and a half later, or 2 months later, he'd had a stroke. Now, he was a high flying businessman. He was a high ranking manager in a bank. His wife didn't have to work. Both his kids went to private school. They both drove Mercedes, and he had the big house, and everything was going great. But all of a sudden, he wasn't able to work because of what had happened. And now the bank was coming after his house. He'd had to sell the cars, uplift the kids out of school. His wife was having to go back to work, and the rug had been pulled out from underneath him for no reason at all, other than he'd been dealt a really crummy hand. He'd done nothing wrong. He'd in fact done everything right. And I sat back and I thought, my God, well, number one, I have to put the skids under the property thing and get security for my family, because if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I need to make sure that they're going to be okay. But on the other side of that coin, I was like, if this has happened to him and this could happen to me, this could happen to anybody. So there's a real need for the average person to be able to build passive asset based income that is going to create financial security for them and for their family. Because without that, everybody thinks that if you're in the 9 to 5 job that it's secure, but actually if something happens to you, you're very quickly replaceable. And that really, it turns your life upside down, you know. And money is a stress. Money's a tool, but money's a stress. There's people across the globe hanging by a thread because of money, because they're sweating the bills, and it doesn't have to be like that. And like I said, I am a bit of an evangelist about property and about investing, because it's changed my life, it's changed my family's life. And my vision, like I said earlier, is that the average person can achieve affluence. The average person doesn't have to have anything special about them, but if they reach out and look to get the right tools, they can get themselves ahead. They can create financial security. Excuse me. They can create a life of affluence, a life of security for them and for their loved ones. So my vision is to create that. My vision is that there doesn't need to be a struggling middle class. There should be, there's enough wealth to go around. People just need to know how to access it.
That's amazing. That's a bold, big vision. I mean, to
Yeah, yeah.
eradicate that, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a big problem. The way that the Western economic system is built, it's built on taxing the working man and the middle class, and the wealthy 1% are protected within corporations, and they know the strategies to offset their tax and to create further wealth, and they are wealthy enough that they, like I said earlier, have a team that they can surround themselves with who are able to then build more wealth off the fact that there's money to throw around. So it means that the gap between the wealthy and the well-off, like I said, is just getting wider. But it doesn't have to be that way. It just, the financial education isn't there for the average person. So that's the gap that we want to sit in. We want to change that.
I like that. Now, thinking about like your vision for your business itself,
Hmm.
what do you want to see? You know, you're a young guy. What do you want to see for the next 20, 30, 40 years? What could this become?
Well, do you know what? I think I'm quite a holistic guy. You know, there's nothing flashy about me. My goals have never been, lofty to have, like, the Lamborghini or anything like that. My goals have always been, I want security for my family. I want time to spend with my family, and I want to give my kids opportunity for nice things if they want them. So outside of that, from a personal vision, I've created that. I'm quite secure in where I am, and we're on that path. But as my business has evolved, I recognize that, I'm not alone in those desires, and the people who work with us are very average people, and all they want is, they want, passive returns ticking in that, looks after the Christmas presents in December, so they don't have to worry about that big bill, or it pays for the family holiday, or it supplements their retirement, or, it builds a portfolio that they can hand to the grandkids. It's very much building other people's visions is now kind of my vision, if you like, because we're small, so we have the capacity to pivot based on what our clients' goals are. So we can actually be very bespoke. And where do I want to go? Where do I want to grow it? At the moment, we invest very much locally in Scotland. And we know the market here. The market is very good to us here, and the cost of entry to get into the property market is really low compared to, for the likes of the States. Somebody over here can get a flat or an apartment on a 75% loan to value mortgage, and the value is 50 grand. So you're talking around about 30K, and somebody can be earning passive returns forever. So, but I guess we'll expand that in Scotland, and potentially then look to expand it across the UK. And as the team grows, I suppose we can look to expand further than that. But it kind of depends. My real vision is to keep this at a level that I'm comfortable with. I like the very personal approach, and like I said, my personal goals aren't lofty. I don't really want the yacht in the Pacific, to be honest with you. So as long as I'm helping other people, that's kind of where I sit.
I can see that. That's pretty cool. How many people are in Scotland now?
Population's around about 5 million.
Okay, that's a lot of
Yeah,
people you could
it's
serve.
not. Yeah, yeah, as similar kind of size of population to Ireland. So yeah, both about 5 million.
That's neat. That's
Yeah.
great. Do you have a
So
team? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say about the same population as is in London by itself is in Scotland.
It's true. Do you have a team that helps you?
So we kind of outsource most things. in so much as, we have people, we have connections now who will bring opportunities with property deals to us. We have a team of trades who we will be able to put in place for refurbishments when they're in play, and we have a team of letting agents that will put the tenants in and carry it forward. Because we can sort of serve here, there, and everywhere, we don't really have a big team of sort of staff as such, because we will bring them in as and when projects demand it. And depending on geographically where those things are, it wouldn't really make a huge amount of sense for me to employ somebody in Glasgow when I have a project that's up in Aberdeen and I need to send them all the way up there, because that's going to be not necessarily feasible for them to just ship up there for 4 weeks at a time, because they're going to have family and all the rest. So the sort of subcontracting or contractor model is where we work off, but we're very well connected, and we're several people deep in all of those avenues, because we've built those teams over time. So all of those contractors know us and trust us, and we have a very good relationship. So we don't kind of hang around in terms of when we have projects on the go. We act on them very quickly, and then we can get them through to completion or to refinance very quickly as well because of that. So the model works very efficiently based on those factors. And again, it means that we're able to pivot and be mobile, and because we have several people deep, we're not relying on just a couple of members of staff, and if one of them are busy, we have to put the next thing on the back burner. We can actually have multiple projects working at the same time because of that.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.